Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
Computing outside, Classic Empire, head-to-head, down to the line. Cloud Computing wins the Preakness.
Buongiorno, everybody. Saratoga Today with Past the Wire. It is here, Travers Day. Doesn't get much better than this. A super card, in my opinion, just an outstanding card. We anticipate that, we hope for that, and I think that it's been delivered for this particular day. You've got a pick 6, pick 5, and pick 4 sequence. Races 7 through 12, anchored by the Travers, the Midsummer Derby that is just loaded with leaders from just about every division of the game, with maybe the exception of the older handicap horses and maybe turf sprinters. But it's a heck of a card, and I'm super excited about it. So we'll get to that in a minute. First off, let's give some shout outs to those that help make these Saratoga Today videos possible for us, and that's our friends at AmWager, extremely innovative ADW. Our friends at Zilla Racing Stable, who have been just competitive and in the game all meet long at Saratoga, and I don't think they're done by any stretch of the imagination. And of course, our friends at Spendthrift Farm, who have 3 future sires running on the card today in Yaupan, Following C, and Jackie's Warrior, adding to their list of stallions that have already made a significant impact on the breeding industry and the sport of kings. Obviously looking to continue that legacy with these 3 heading to Spendthrift Farm. A lot of exciting maidens always run on Travers Day. It's just one of those little nuances that we see at Saratoga almost every year. We're not going to get into that though, because we want to do a show, not a movie. So we'll get to the stake races in a moment. But there is something I think we're going to mention. Not going to spend too much time on it, but we will come back to it later on next week in another show, because I think it's important. But, that race yesterday where that horse was not declared a non-starter, I thought was an atrocious decision by the stewards. I thought it was horrible, and I think that a lot of people are getting the main issue, in my opinion, wrong. And, that's why I say it's always good to go back and watch a race after or later when, the excitement and adrenaline is not there. And I did that, but I kind of saw it the same way. A lot of people are saying that the steward said that they didn't think that the horse gained an unfair advantage. And I agree. I don't think that's what happened at all. I think that, the gate opened. She came out. She was snatched up by IRAD, loaded back in, and then they sprung the gate, I think, before she was set the second time. And I think she gained or actually lost, her best chance of winning the race. I think she was put at a disadvantage by the gate mishap. And I think she absolutely should have been declared a non-starter. I think it was the only fair thing to do. I'm at a loss, as are many other experienced people in the game, with that decision. There's too much subjectivity in the steward decisions, but I don't even think this was subjective. I think this was just a blatantly blown call by the same crew, and I will say this because I think it's important, by the same stewards who allowed a horse to run off over a quarter of a mile about a month ago, load in the gate, and then watch the horse get eased. That horse should have been a non-starter as well. So you say they're not concerned about handle. You say they're not concerned about field size, that they're just concerned about enforcing the rules. The circumstances of these two races would indicate otherwise, in my opinion. Um, so we'll leave that there. We'll get to the Travers card. That was very, very unfortunate. If you bet that horse, I feel for you. I think you definitely got a raw deal and have a legitimate gripe with the Naira stewards for that just horrendous non-call bad decision, ridiculous. Um, okay, uh, City Man got it done yesterday for us at a decent price. I've been waiting for a big race from that horse for a while. As I said, I know that Dan Reeves was. I know that Christophe Clement was. I don't know that we saw it. We saw a race good enough to win for sure. Uh, but I don't know. It's that it was City Man's best race. Maybe we'll see that somewhere down the line going forward. But he did get the job done. He did pad the bankroll for Travers Day, and that's all we could really ask. So if you're a watcher of Saratoga Today, there's a good shot you had a good day yesterday, and thank you for tuning in. Starts with the Grade 1 Ballerina. Well, the races we're going to talk about start with the Grade 1 Ballerina. Uh, we'll dissect that and the rest of the pick six sequence in a minute. So hang tight.
Reach the starting gate. It's post time. Cold front, the favorite comes forward. And they're into the stretch. Cold front put to the 10. Cold front does it again. Right in the field of the Amsterdam.
You know, the biggest obstacle that Gamine may face in the 7 furlong Grade 1 Ballerina Stakes might not be any of her foes, might just be the rail. Not the best place for her to start. She's had a couple of races in her career where she didn't get out of the gate that good and kind of was able to make the lead anyway and still did it and was still able to win. The only race she ever lost was the Kentucky Oaks, which was at 1.125 miles last year in September when she was 3. Probably not ready to go that far at that point, according to Bob Baffert. But going one turn and going 7/8 of a mile, she's been just devastating. She's a big, strong filly. If she does break bad from the rail, she could probably still, make the lead. And if she's got to get crafty with Johnny and, maybe somebody goes and she goes outside and goes past him, she could probably do that too. She's athletic enough to do that. But the rail is tricky. For an odds-on horse that's broke bad, 1 or 2 times before, carrying a lot of weight, 126 pounds. That's the most she's ever carried, spotting weight to the entire field. But she's significantly faster than anybody in here. She ran a 2 negative last time. That's, faster than anybody in here. She ran a 0 before that, a 1 negative before that. So she's just putting up numbers that trounce these, and if she breaks good, they're probably all running for second. So that said, they still got to run the race, and there are 2 horses in here that I think, if something fluky happens and there's going to be an upset, there are 2 that I think might be the ones to do it. If you've been watching the show since the beginning of the meet, you know that I liked Lake Avenue last time out when we were on that horrific run of seconditis. And she ran second, beaten the neck by Bell's the One, who's a quality mare that came and just got her. I thought she ran really well. I think she actually likes sprinting better than routing. We discussed that when I liked her last time. I think she actually likes 7 better than 6. So this is the ideal scenario for her with 119 pounds for Bill Mott and Junior, who hasn't had the best of meets, but we know he's hungry and we know he's a good, strong finisher. And I think this one is a dangerous upset possibility, as I do the bottom horse, CC. CC is fast, like 7/8, is perfectly drawn outside. Uh, and like I said, somebody's got to something fluky's got to happen with Gamine in order for anybody to beat her. But I always say they're not machines. So if you're inclined to, look elsewhere, I do think there were some options. Casual is on tracking trips, very very wide last time, and this is another horse that I thought had some big races in her that she has not delivered on yet by any stretch of the imagination. At least not the kind of races I thought she was capable of and would be, putting forward. I actually thought she had a shot to win the Acorn last year. That got mean romped in by about a furlong, uh, and she didn't run a step. Got beat 32 lengths, but she's coming off two very very wide actually three or four very, very wide trips. Uh, Probably not going to be that wide today, going 7/8 of a mile. So maybe she's an alternative too. But again, Gamine on the lead, probably by herself, probably drawing away from these, or certainly having enough gas to hold them off, even with the weight. Uh, and if she comes charging out of the gate like she, also does sometimes, then like I said, they're probably running for second. But there are alternatives. So if you're inclined to try and take a shot to beat her, it's not like there's nobody in there that's got the ability to win the race. I mean, Wisconsin is a serious filly too. I just don't think she's going to get Gamine today, but she wouldn't actually be a shocker either. Um, the Forgo is one of the races I think can get very, very interesting. Uh, and I think it's going to come down to what the future spendthrift stallion Yaupan does. Yaupan to me looks like the speed of the race, looks like he should be able to make the lead from the 7 post. And if he clears off and can handle 7/8 of a mile, which I suspect both are very, very good possibilities, then he may be the winner. And he's going to be the favorite, and he's never gone 7/8 of a mile. So, you know, you're betting a favorite to do something that they've never done before if you're rolling with Yao Pan. That said, if he doesn't clear off or somebody presses him or he can't get 7/8, then it becomes a very, very interesting race that I think a lot of different things can happen in. So to me, it's the kind of race where if you believe in Yao Pan, you take a shot. If you don't, it opens the door to a lot of possibilities. I think Mischievous Alex is going to be a little forgotten today off that last race. He ran that huge Met Mile, then he come back and run okay, then he come back and run not so good. Uh, no, I'm sorry. He ran the huge Carter handicap, and then he ran okay in the Met, which at a mile I think is a little further than he wants to go. And then he kind of tanked in the Vanderbilt, 8 by 11 lengths as a 7-5 favorite, which was a little bit out of character for him. He's 0 for 2 at Saratoga. Safi Joseph is 1 for 30 something at Saratoga, ice cold, but has 6 seconds. Uh, but I like looking at these kind of forgotten horses. He'll be a little forgotten today. If you draw a line through the last race, he's one of the picks here again, and he's going to get ignored 6 or 7 to 1. So I don't know what happened to him that day in the Vanderbilt, but they come right back here off some good works. So we'll see. I would say he's definitely one that I can certainly consider. Like I said though, if you get past Yalpan, there's a lot of different ways to go. A lot of different ways. I never press the all button. But in a race like this, I think Lexitonian, who won that race last time at 30 something to 1, showed us that sometimes you can get lucky. I couldn't have got to Lexitonian no matter what without the all button last time. I didn't, because I very rarely use all. But if I was going to use all in a race in this particular sequence, this might be it. There's another one that I think is that wide open that it's going to have a very heavy favorite that a lot of people are going to single, and I think is vulnerable. But we'll get to that one in a minute. But this race, Whitmore absolutely can win. He's a bear when he's right. If he gets the right pace set up, he gets Rosario today for Santana. Santana sticks with Steve's horse. Whitmore can be a bear under the right circumstances, and he's won at Saratoga before. Lexingtonian would surprise me if he ran that way again, but he surprised me last time. Not impossible. He'll be, much less of a price today. Mind Control, like Saratoga, improved for Todd Pletcher. I thought that was going to happen. It did. Uh, he's in this new barn now, and he's got a little bit of new life. He was kind of off form, tailed off a little bit, but now he's back over a track he loves, second off the layoff, second time Todd, dangerous, doubly blessed, horse that'll be 20, 25, 30 to 1 maybe in here. In great form, obviously likes dirt better than turf. They had this one on the turf. Maker got him on the dirt, and all of a sudden he's a new animal. And he cuts back from route races to 7/8 with Luis Saez, and I don't think he's impossible in here. Be that as it may, we'll find out. Chance It, another Safi Joseph horse coming off a very, very fast race at Gulfstream Park. Run a 0 negative that day. That's a number that puts him right in here with these. I don't think he's as good as these. I don't think he can do it, but it's not impossible. You couldn't say after the race, wow, this horse had no shot. And then you got Yalpan, who we talked about, and Firenze Fire, who I don't like today, but people loved him the last couple of times he ran. Mind Control beat him that day. I think Mind Control at Saratoga would have a better shot than him, but it's Firenze Fire. Wins a lot of races. He's 14 for 35. Graded stakes winner. So, tough to knock. I think this is, like I said, a race that depends on what you think of Yalpan. So how much do you want to ride with him, and how much do you bank on him? I will say that if the track is very fast and speed favoring, not just fast, but speed favoring and speed friendly, then I think you got to upgrade Yalpan and really rethink that going very deep. Then you might be able to get away with just Yalpan, or maybe adding one or two decent price horses for a little bit of insurance. But, we'll see. That depends on how the track plays out. But I think that's how the race unfolds. It goes through him, and it's whether or not he gets to 7 and whether or not he gets clear. And with Ricardo Santana on the outside like that, I think he'll get clear. And I personally think he'll get to 7. I think he's better than he's shown. And he's shown plenty of talent, but I don't think we've actually seen his best yet. So I like him, but I've got questions, and I think it's a race where it may pay to gamble a little bit that something fluky could happen. The Allen Jerkins, I don't think anything fluky can happen. Well, we say that, and then horses have a tendency to humble us. But I think the 3 big names, Jackie's Warrior, Following C, and Life is Good, are the legit horses in here. Judge and Jury, I find very intriguing for Danny Gargan. I don't know that he's good enough, but his last race was certainly fast enough, in my opinion, to compete with these. And if he goes forward off it, I think he's in the mix. And he doesn't need the lead. He can sit a little bit and then make a move. And Saez from the 5-hole is never a bad thing in a 6-horse field. But if you put a gun to my head and told me I had to take one of these extremely talented, super fast horses, as much as I respect and like Jackie's Warrior, especially going 7/8 of a mile at Saratoga, where I believe he's 3 for 3 at Saratoga. Saratoga Special, Hopeful, and then the Amsterdam. I wouldn't take him. I would actually take Life is Good. Life is Good is drawn on the outside. I know that Bob Baffert thought this was his best 3-year-old early in the year. Didn't pan out. Wind up in Todd Pletcher's barn after the horse got hurt, but Todd Pletcher knows how to get a good one ready as well. Runs this horse here off a layoff, working splendidly, in my opinion. Watched a couple of them and just looks like a bear. Very, very good horse in the morning, so I could see why people would like him and be very, very high on him. But, Bob obviously knows much better than I do. So when he thought this was his best 3-year-old before the horse ever ran, um, you gotta put some weight on that. I think Mike will have options from the 6 hole, uh, and I think that with a gun to my head, he'd be where I would land. But like I said, there's a couple of very fast horses in here, and Drain the Clock is not much behind them for Slam Dunk Racing and Saffie Joseph again. But Saffie Joseph is ice cold, and I don't think the rail helps this horse today. I think it's a bad spot for him to have to beat horses that he might need everything to go perfect for him to beat. Uh, but he's a slam dunk homebred by Nick Casado. He's talented. He's in the fight. Uh, he's not far off of them. So I guess if things go his way, he wouldn't be a shock. But I think the rail is going to hurt him, and I think Life is Good is going to come back a little bit more grown up and maybe be better than when we saw him leave. And I don't think he's going to need a race at all. So, be that as it may, we'll find out soon enough. Uh, the Personal Ensign. This is the race I thought that something funny could possibly happen. Latrushka, who is very high on all the NTRA polls, and everybody says leader of the division, blah, blah, blah. All true. Very, very, very nice horse. I think that they've done a phenomenal job with her. Fausto Gutierrez, great job. Really, really, really nice mare. She's turned into fast, good, and quite consistent. But this is Saratoga, and this is a tough race, and I personally don't think that she's a cinch by any stretch of the imagination, and she's 6-5 on the morning line. She'll probably be around that, and she'll probably be a single on a lot of tickets. And I think she's vulnerable, and I think she's especially vulnerable if Miss Marissa puts some heat to her early. Now I don't know that she will, but I don't know that she won't either. But I'm not going to stand with Latrushka. Swiss Skydiver could also put some heat to her early if she makes an early move, as time goes by. So we'll see how that unfolds pace wise. But I think there are alternatives here. I'm going to mention Dunbar Road only because I loved her in her last 2 starts. She disappointed me big time. But she scratched last week to run in this much tougher spot. Chad Brown doesn't do that for no reason. He knows what he's doing. He knows better than you or I where his horses belong. So obviously he thinks that she might be getting better or coming around. And her pattern suggests that. I mean, she's got numbers in her back form that can win this race and compete here. And her pattern's going forward. She run a 5, 2 starts back, a 3 last time out. So she's improving without any visible excuses. But maybe she's just taking a few to get back into shape. I don't know. But I'd hate for her to beat me at 20-1 with Pratt and Chad Brown when I, loved her the last 2 times at much shorter prices, 5-2 and 2-1. So I'm almost committed to giving her some long and hard consideration in a race where I think the heavy favorite is a vulnerable horse. As time goes by, ships in off a very subpar effort at Del Mar in the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch. She Dares the Devil, run away and hid that day. She stumbled inside, came up empty. Her races before that are competitive enough to run here. She's run as fast as the favorite, so I think she's a contender. I don't think they brought her here just for the heck of it. She worked 58 and 46 after that last race, so Bonnie South would surprise me. I don't think she's fast enough and not consistent enough for me. Swiss Skydiver, what could you say? Coming out of the Whitney against boys. Uh, Irad goes off her onto Latrushka. Brother Jose gets on her. Interesting flip flop over there. But she's a serious filly when she brings her A game. So I got to say she's absolutely a contender. I'd want her on my ticket. She would be reason enough I couldn't single Latrushka just because I wouldn't want to leave her out. Um, Royal Flag I find interesting. Royal Flag is another one of those horses that I always expected a very big race from. And I think she finally delivered it last time out in the Shuvi. Unfortunately, didn't have her that day. She was the favorite anyway, but I think she ran huge. And maybe she's just coming around. She's 5 for 10 coming around. I wouldn't want to leave her out with Rosario, the way he rides some of these closes. Latrushka, fast, consistent, dangerous, but I don't know. Her last two races, wire to wire, by herself, may happen again. Maybe Miss Marissa can put some gas to her. If not, she'll be tough. She's won at Saratoga, going a route of ground. She won the Shuvi there last year, so she handles this track. Got a lot of things going for her. Working excellent, but something tells me a little vulnerable. Maybe I'm crazy. I wouldn't toss her by any stretch of the imagination because of the way I'm going to structure my tickets. I'm going to be able to use her as well as others because I'm going to have some prices in other spots. But I just think she's vulnerable. I can't see Miss Marissa. Uh, Harvey's Little Girl is very interesting to me going turf to dirt. Um, I think this horse has run good on the dirt before. I like the work on the dirt on August 21st a lot. Uh, Saez, leading rider, just riding lights out. And I think this American Pharaoh filly is going to be under the radar and very, very dangerous in here. She's classy. She's talented. I mean, she was a neck off Audrea in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf. On the turf, true, but huge race that day, gaining at the end. And I think she's just really, really, really dangerous today. Uh, Definitely a horse I would use. Definitely a horse I would go back at. Um, Gun to my head, top choice, Harvey's Little Goyle. Um, I'm not going to single her, but I'm definitely going to go back at her. And if I play the race alone, which I may or may not do, depending on how the day is going, but that's who I would probably play and take a shot with. I think she's really dangerous. I think she's sitting on a big race. I think she'll like the turf to dirt move. Um, she has gone turf to dirt once before. It was back in 2019. She ran in a maiden on the grass, ran a closing fourth, but not really doing any significant damage. Come out of that race and win by 6, drawn off, geared down in a visually impressive race. Not a particularly fast race, but a visually impressive race. But that was 2 years ago. Um, talented horse. I think she's a grade 1 type of horse, and I think she's dangerous. Graceful Princess. Super bred horse. Tap it at a Havre de Grace. Wow. Won over at Saratoga. But, last time out at Monmouth, didn't beat nothing like she's going to have to face here. She's drawn very, very wide. She's coming off a super career best to move forward. I think she's going to regress, if anything. I'm not there for her. So we'll see. If she wins, I'm not going to be hitting any of the multi-race wages. I can tell you that. The Sword Dancer, Really, really good race. Interesting race because we always complain there's no pace in these turf marathons. This one looks like it's got some pace. You've got Chad Brown's horse on the rail, um, Tribhuvan. You've got Channel Maker. You've even got Moretti, Cross Border, who's a Saratoga horse for course, if there ever was one, and there have been many. We know that. So it looks like you have pace in here, especially if Moretti takes to the turf, which I don't think is impossible at all. I actually think it's a good spot to try him out on it. Um, I lean in this race, and this might be my single in the sequence, to Japan. Aiden O'Brien's horse coming in. This horse is a really, really nice horse. He doesn't bring it every time, and he doesn't look as good um, at 5 that he did at especially at 3, where he just won some really big races, and even at 4, when he was a little bit more competitive in the Group 1s over there than he has been this year. But at his best, okay, he handles these, and he's run very competitive with the best over there. And the best over there is as good or better than the best over here, especially on the grass. We know that already. I think Aiden O'Brien's thought process was, I've had so much success bringing some horses over there in the past couple of weeks. It may be just what this guy needs to get back into the Grade 1 / Group 1 type of wins, He carried 140 pounds the last time out. He's carrying 120 today. I don't think I've ever seen a horse in a Grade 1 taking off 20 pounds. I don't think weight matters all that much, but 20 pounds is a nice amount of weight at a mile and a half. So I can make a case for a lot of other horses in here. If anybody goes wire to wire, I think it would be Chad from the rail, because I think he'll just shoot and say, come catch me. And everybody gets patient, and I think he'll be the one winging on the lead. Gufu, who a lot of people knocked off his last win and said, oh, he's quirky, he's this, he's that. I think he's dangerous. He brings it with Rosario. I wouldn't be shocked if Moretti took to the turf and ran a good race. And I think, Cross Border makes a ton of sense. Loves the track, used to have speed, now comes from off it. But Make is on a roll, as we know. Saez is riding great, but I'm going to take the what I think is the class horse, who's run with just really, really good horses over there. And I like Japan, and that's probably going to be my single in the sequence. I may add another horse depending on how my ticket shakes out, but I like Japan today. I think he's sitting on one of his better races, and I think he's catching the right field to do that. This is no question a Grade 1 field, but are these the best of the best that we have here? I don't know. Domestic Spending's not there, and I think he's probably the best grass horse we have right now. So without him in there, I'll take Japan. Travers, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Travers, only because we've got another video, the Travers Roundtable, so I don't want to bore everybody, so I'll run through it quick. I think Midnight Bourbon is dangerous on the front end. I think he gets the lead. I respect Essential Quality. I'm not sure whether that last race, the Jim Dandy, was the kind of prep that I would want to have. I thought he had to run very hard, very wide in order to win that. And I think that may show a little bit today. Maybe not. Maybe he gets a better trip today and goes forward. I wish I was more confident one way or the other. Because if I was confident that he was going to go forward, I could say, all right, I could stand with him. If I was confident that he was going to pay the price for that hard-fought mile-and-a-half Belmont win, the hard-fought Kentucky Derby, and then the very hard-fought Jim Dandy that was a little unexpected, I don't know. I was leaning against him a lot more until I saw him school in the paddock the other day, and he just looked like a beast, rearing up and just was saying like, look at me, tout myself, I'm ready, which I'm sure he is. But, they're not machines, and I don't I don't trust that last prep race. I gotta say it the way that I see it. I do believe it can go either way, and he can prove me wrong, but I don't see it. So I would have to use Midnight Bourbon along with him on the lead. And there's another horse that uh, I don't want to toss, and it's a tall order, but I think Miles D is dangerous. You can laugh at me all you want. I know Dynamic won, beat him easily in the Curlin. I think he was supposed to beat him that day. Miles D was thrown to the wolves that day, right at it, a maiden, very lightly raced horse. I thought he went wide. It says 3 wide. I thought it was wider than that. And when I watched that race, I said, you know what? He's going to come back and be tough against this Dynamic one and probably be able to turn the tables on him with that race and that experience under the belt. I still believe that. So I wouldn't be so fast to toss him. I think he's a talented horse. He's certainly bred to do this, and I don't think Chad would be running him if he didn't think that taking a shot could possibly pay off. I mean, Chad likes to run into Travers. I know he's would probably love nothing more to win it, being a Saratoga guy and just a dominant trainer at the spa. But he's a dominant trainer everywhere, and he runs his horses in the right spots. And I think that this is a live bomb with Flavien Prat. So we'll see what happens. There's my thoughts on the Travers card. Hope you enjoyed the show. We went about a half hour, but 6 races. I tried not to bore everybody and tried not to go too long. We'll come back to the gate fiasco later in the week. We've still got a lot of other stuff to talk about. We've got 2 more weeks of racing to go. We're into Black Nice. We're riding good. Hopefully some of you are riding and capitalized on some of my opinions and are riding good along with us. Thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the Travers Day card and the Travers Day festivities. I'm not there this year. I'm usually there for the Travers, so it feels a little strange to me. Last year, pandemic, no Travers. This year, decided to chill out at home, no Travers. But I think we'll enjoy it on the big screen just the same. And, there's no place like home. So we will reconvene in the morning, and ciao for now. Nobody does it better.